Great. And in terms of managing negative self-talk, I think it's so pervasive that it's hard for people to even recognize when they're doing it. It's like asking a fish, what's it like to live in water? And they ask, what's water? So for me, one thing that I've found is meditation. It's really good to recognize your own thoughts. Yeah, and then you can use it in meetings if it's getting a little bit heated. You can just take a few breaths and feel a little bit calm. And then journaling, I think, works really well. Just write out your stream of consciousness in the morning or in the evening, just to get it out. And then seeing it there, black and white, at least you know what you're dealing with. Is there anything else that you've found that helps people to recognize their self-talk and then combat it?
Yeah, I guess exactly those two. I was going to talk about meditation. I was going to talk about journaling. Also, one thing that I was suggested to me that I should do, and it's not easy, was take half an hour in a day, or even 15 minutes, right? Because this takes effort. Have a piece of pen and a paper, and just sit in silence, right? And every time a thought comes into your head, write it down on that piece of paper, just for half an hour, right? It'll seem like forever, right? And I've done it once or twice, and you'd be surprised at how many negative things come into your head, and you write them down, and then read it back to yourself, and you realize most of that was just noise. It wasn't real, right? It was false evidence. I've realized it by writing it down. So just stopping, taking time, listening to your mind. As you said, meditation is key, right? And being aware that most of this stuff in your head is negative bias, right? So many of us have negative biases in our heads telling us that we're not good enough, that we have imposter syndrome, etc., etc. And we're spending so much time arguing with ourselves. And one of the things I did was I walked in a forest with a friend of mine every Wednesday for 12 weeks for 45 minutes in silence. We walked together and we didn't say anything to each other. And the first few sessions, all I could sense was my head was going, why am I doing this? Is he going to murder me? Why is he? All of these mad things were in my head. And by the last couple of walks, I didn't notice what was happening in my head. I noticed the crackle of twigs under my feet, running water. And that proved to me that most of that sound in the head is completely superfluous. We don't need it. But unless you actually stop and take time and reflect, that's just going to continue, and it'll always be there, but it's finding ways to kind of slow it down and be aware of it. You're spot on. Meditation, gratitude lists, journaling, and then just taking time out and noticing yourself is so important.